I know you like to move fast, but I was telling you, look, draft up what you want to show to an attorney. And for that $1,000 or whatever it costs,
It
you could
doesn't
then
matter.
have a template for future deals. But then you're insulating yourself because $250,000 is a lot of money. Okay.
I
Like
agree.
it is a
It
lot of
is.
money. You don't want to lose 100 grand. You don't want to lose.
No.
Probability is that you're not going to lose any money, but you
Yeah.
might not make any money.
This is Vinney Chopra, Vinney Smile Chopra. Thank you for following me on social channels, listening to my podcast, YouTube channel, all the different channels, and also liking the podcast. Please give us a 5-star review, subscribe to it, share the content. My blogs are there. Please watch them too and read them. Also, YouTube channel, all the different ones. My Vinney and Beau show on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific every week, and also Abundance Mindset with Vinney and Walter Amarello on Thursday live. Please enjoy this show. Thanks again for everything. God bless you.
Hi there, guys. Another episode of Vinney and Beau show. This is Vinney Chopra and brother Beau right there. How are you, Beau?
It's going well. You don't sleep as much, that's for sure, but you got to be able to balance. And
Yeah.
so that's a responsibility. Even my wife used to walk the dog, and now she's busy with the baby. So now I've started walking the dog. So you're stacking on responsibilities. You're losing a little sleep, and you're busier than ever. So, that's what you got to do.
That's right. And today we are talking about taking calculated risks. It's so important. Taking calculated risks and moving decisively are really essential for our business growth and personal growth. So I hope everybody hunkers down and listen to this really great episode and share with other people also.
I think it all starts with the SWOT analysis, right? You're going to look for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when you're analyzing something, a lot of times you don't have much time to make a decision. You could get a residential assisted living, right? Perfect
Yes,
example.
yes.
You had to move very quick on your decision without
Yes.
even walking the property. What can you do to limit the risk? Of course, you're going into a new market, timing for permits and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I think the people that can take calculated risk and be decisive usually end up winning. And you're going to realize that over time, not every time you get up to bat will you hit the ball. Sometimes you're going to strike out. But the idea is to keep that batting average as high as possible, because that's when you're going to win.
I totally agree with you, Beau, and it happened in my life in the last 1 month as you're getting me going with the SBA loan. But I made a quick decision because I asked the operator to send somebody and get me a video of this house. So I'm here in San Francisco area, and this is in Phoenix, Scottsdale area. I got 3 videos of the house starting from the front, going into each room, and the ceiling and everything in the backyard. And it was so nice that I was able to see it right there, as if I flew there and got into the car, went to the property, and got to see everything in real time. After that, we also talked to the licensing board, or the lady over there who gave us the thumbs up, because the house was 1 mile radius. There was no other RAF. That is the only thing. And this house had already been equipped with fire sprinklers and everything, and the health department had okayed it before all the renovations happened and so forth. So it was, we mitigate the risk. Research and risk assessment was so low that I said, okay, let me grab it, and got a good deal from the listing price to what I paid.
And so is your application already in?
It's already done. As soon as I got my name on the title, my operator, my consultant, Lori, already filled out application. She's going to hand deliver right there. And then she's going to send me a whole receipt of the whole package and everything so that I can provide to SBA. So it'll be maybe 2 months, she says, that they will be able to come, fire department and health department, to do the inspection. She went to the warehouse, a big furniture warehouse where she buys the things, brand new things. And it was so exciting. She gave me another video of the truckers outside, because we wanted to donate some of the furniture which we cannot use and move some tables, office tables and all. Then she showed me how these things can be kept, and then we're going to buy other stuff and so forth. So you're right. I think we have already started the process of furnishing this property. And then the landscapers are coming, three of them, front and the back, giving us the quotes. So she believes in the same system which I do. For any kind of bids, there has to be total transparency. I told my personal banker to open the Bank of America account right here in California, which will be nearest one to this property for us to operate on and everything. So we are moving forward with a vengeance.
Yeah, I think that it's something to be said that you have to, in life, you do have to make decisions.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit premature where you don't know all the end results. You can only do the diligence to limit the risk factors. And there's always
Yes.
going to be things that pop up. Those are the variables. And so you have to be able to roll with the punches. But I
Sure.
think the people that are out there that understand the game of taking calculated risks are going to, most of those people are the entrepreneurs that will end up winning. And obviously you always hear horror stories. We've all had those strikeouts where we
Yep.
really
Yep.
probably didn't do our SWOT analysis properly.
Yeah. That's
And that's why we didn't like that. We missed some steps. I've definitely done on some houses that I bought with sight unseen kind of thing where it was remote is I didn't do some of the things I should have done. Like I had bought a house that was very old and I didn't think about doing sewer line inspection and sewer lines. And if you're buying houses in the early
it can
1900s,
cost money.
most, so you got to understand these things. And then occasionally you're going to touch the stove and you're going to burn your hand and you're going to say, I'm not going to do that again. And
Yeah.
I've had that happen numerous times, but the majority, I think if you do your SWOT analysis and you really think about all like the variables and then you limit the big risks by doing that diligence on the big risk factors,
Yeah.
then really, I think you can mitigate the risk levels. And I think that's really the key because there's always, I've been looking at a lot of different business ventures and I'm always thinking, what's really going to happen if I started this business? What's the real truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how can I eliminate it? And I think you really got to take notes as you're going through the diligence process about reviewing a franchise, reviewing a business acquisition, a real estate deal, and
Yeah.
really write a thesis of like things that could go wrong,
Mhm.
things to research. This way you don't miss. I think if you don't do the steps of diligence, when I used to rehab houses, when I would eyeball a house, say, oh, I'll rehab this house for $70,000. You make mistakes versus having a process to analyze the house, what it would really take. Okay, if there's 2,000 square feet, what does it cost to paint? What is the
Yeah.
cost of floor? Because the square footage, it's going to be about whatever, 350 per
Yeah.
square foot to lay down the laminate floor and do the baseboards. You can really get a better grasp as opposed to like most people say, oh, I've done this so many times. I'm just going to say it's going to be
Yeah.
75 grand to fix.
No, I agree with you totally. We got to really use all the tools. I say that because you so much available right now through AI. You could do market studies. They could go through all these different websites. Like you and I, when we did it for this magic zip code, which when I went there last year in Phoenix, it was very impressive for me to see that these RALs near to the Mayo Clinic, which is one of the top in the whole Phoenix area, or in Arizona, maybe even. It's a magic zip code where the RALs, residential assisted livings, are 100% occupied. And my consultant, she also has 4 of them. So I wanted to buy something where she tells me. See, so you can mitigate risk by reaching out to the professionals, make some relationship with them so that they are your eyes and you read what they are telling you. Another deal came, by the way, 11 bedroom and 7 bath, 1.8 million, but we were going to put an offer for 1.4 million. And the person bought it for 999, something like that. Anyway, nice. But the thing is, it was in Scottsdale, but my operator, my consultant, Lori said, Vinny, no, it's a right smack in the middle of neighborhood. There's no parking that much. And for 10 seniors, their families will be coming and this and that. And the neighborhood is okay. So I backed out right away. So the thing is, I was ready to put an offer, by the way. I sent everything from the broker, listing agent. I was copying and pasting it to Lori. She was in a meeting. And I said, I'm not going to make a decision until she blesses the location and why we should go ahead or not go. So, so good to really have good team members.
Yeah. I think that's a big
Good.
part of it too, is that
Mhm.
you need the team around you to help you because they have experience in this segment, in the market. They know what's good, what's not good. And so
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
find that person in whatever the business or industry you're working in,
Yeah.
that's the key, right? Because you're not just making your own assumptions. You're learning from somebody that's doing it in the market. Because if you went in blind and said, "Oh, I'm just going to do this business," and Phoenix is a great market, and you
Yeah.
were in the wrong neighborhood and you didn't think about the parking, and now all of a
Hmm.
sudden people are like, "This is a great location," but God, like when I want to come see my mom, I can't even find a parking spot.
So,
Yeah, I think that,
and the neighbors are so angry and everything. And they'll say, my gosh, why are you putting all these cars all around? You're so right. So important, just like what you said. Some people might ask you and I and watching us now, they say, how do I find that person? How do I really build relationship? It's all there in front of you. Google search. You just say RAL, residential assisted living operator with a license. That's it. You just Google it and the zip code where you're looking for this property, and you will come up with so many different links. Don't look for the sponsored ones, but look for the consultants and maybe even the management companies who are there in that zip code who manage the RALs. Those are great too because they will give you so much information because they want your business. See? And you being away in a different state, you do want to find out everything. And then the laws and all these different things are right public knowledge by researching. And the best is ChatGPT. Just tell them, hey, give me this, give me that, give me that. I love Perplexity, I think is the one, right? You shared with me. And I love that because it gives you resources and it tells you what more questions you should ask artificial intelligence. So I'm just loving it, totally loving it.
yeah, it's a game changer to get
Mhm.
your thoughts right and just using AI just to help you
Yeah.
navigate the process. The other day I was playing around because you were asking about a profit share agreement.
Yeah.
And I went in and I had ChatGPT and draft up a profit share agreement. I said, now I want a profit share agreement where you can have a lien. Now, the thing is, obviously, if you're doing a profit share agreement on a house flip, right, you got to be careful because there's so many risk factors. One is you want to know when they're getting a hard money bridge loan and you're going to be a profit share, you're basically the money partner, right? There's going to be a house
Yep.
flipper, they're flipping the property
Yes.
and they're getting X amount of dollars in a senior loan position from a hard money fund.
Right.
And then we call this gap funding, what you're doing essentially. So then
Uh-huh.
the real question is you got to be careful because there's usury laws. If you do it as a profit share agreement, you're a partner essentially. But you also want to be able to do it as a recorded lien because if
Yeah.
it goes bad,
Yep.
and then what I would do is have a draft copy and then take it to an attorney that you trust and say, hey, this is what I'm doing on this profit share agreement because ChatGPT is only as good as ChatGPT. When something goes wrong, you wish you would have done it the right way, right? So if you just take what I would say, hey, try something like this, that's not the right way to do it. I got it. And now you could take a calculated risk and say, I'll just do this and see if it works. But what I would do is I would say, I want to do a profit share agreement. I want to have a recorded lien. I want to protect myself as much as possible. Here's a
Yes.
draft attorney. So you're saving them some time. And for the 500 or $1,000 for them to review it and make edits.
I love what you're saying. Essentially, that's what I've been doing for 2 days. Sending it to Milton Colgrove, my brother, my friend for 17 years. He's my attorney, real estate attorney, who has done flips also in the Dallas area. He's the best in the colony. I just texted twice. And yesterday he said, Vinny, I'm on vacation. I'll be back on Monday. I'll send you the whole document. I told my partner, hey, we are going with the deal. She told me that I could write any kind of contract with her. She'll be fine. So that way, all meeting of the mind, right? We tied the property. She paid the money, everything. And now I need the legal document with Beau, your help and Milton's help. And when I want to do more business with her too, why not? And that's what I'm saying. But you're so right. You need legal document with the lien to make sure that you're not left high and dry. And then also profit sharing, the percentage of if the house does not sell. The other thing you shared with me was get the comparable sales of the houses, 3 or 4 houses near to the location, right?
Yeah. So when I was drafting it up, and some of the language, owner guarantees a minimum profit of $96,000 based on the investor's $245,000 investment.
Aha.
If the net profits are insufficient to meet the guaranteed profit, the property owner agrees to pay the difference from other resources.
Aha.
Some of this language that I was thinking about, here's a perfect point. I would come up with some of these drafts, what I would want in a contract.
Yes.
Then I would take it to a legal professional and say, "Hey, is this legal? Is there anything I'm doing that if this went bad, that would not hold up in a court of law?" Right. I think that's what you want to do. You want to spell out an agreement. See, once you have a really good profit share agreement, then you paid, maybe even if you paid $2,000 to Milton,
It's what?
you're going to use that template. You're going to use that template over and over again. So why
Yeah.
not do it right the first time, or at least limit your risk? Could
I love it.
Because you could easily, we've all done this before. Hey, it's a great deal. We can easily just say, hey, let's do, your agreement's fine, I'll sign it, like, and there's no recorded deed. And then crap hits the fan and your 245 ends up being paid out 150, lose 100 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're not protecting yourself. Like, I see
Yes.
a lot of people that do these deals and they don't record any liens as a gap
Uh-huh.
lender. I've seen people lose because they didn't even know what the first loan amount was, what the terms
Yeah.
were. I've-
Yep.
I told a lady one time that I wouldn't make this investment. She did. She ended up losing $700,000.
Wow. Oh my God. You
Let's
know
not
what?
bring,
You
let's
just
not,
reminded
let's
me.
not
One of
bring
my
up names. But
investors.
remember, actually, you met with her. We met with her. We don't need to bring up her name, but remember, she lived over in Blackhawk. I think it was a long time ago. But that lady, I told her not to do.
Oh, I
She
remember.
invested like 700. Yeah, the blonde hair lady. So
Wow, I remember
I
her.
think on 2 deals, she lost $700,000. I specifically
Oh,
told her, look, I've heard bad things about the person you're going to invest with. I probably wouldn't do this. I said, I strongly recommend you don't do it. And of course they do it. They do it with lack of the physical paperwork. And then all of a sudden they lose a big chunk of their retirement.
you know
She had some
what?
money, but she didn't have that much money.
That is so sad. I know one of my very good investor, I'm not going to say the name. They told me, Vinny, in a luxury home flip in San Francisco, where I live in Danville, Blackhawk area, right? They lost 2 million. I didn't really dig into it. Now they're investing in my deal again with me because they say, Vinny, we trust you. You're honest and everything. They've been with me since 2007. But they said, Vinny, last year we lost $2 million. I said, how? How could you do that? Maybe that's what happened there. They didn't have a legal document put together, the profit sharing or what returns this flipper was going to give them. And they said, Vinny, in your backyard, we lost 2 million. That just killed me.
Yeah. And have a recorded lien. I know you like to move fast, but I was telling you, look, draft up what you want to show to an attorney. And for that $1,000 or whatever it costs,
It
you
doesn't
can then
matter.
have a template for future deals, but then you're
Uh,
insulating yourself because $250,000 is a lot of money. Okay.
yeah,
Like, it is a
it
lot of
is.
money. You don't want to lose 100 grand. You don't want to lose,
No.
probability is that you're not going to lose any money, but you
Yeah.
might not make any money. So you're losing money because you're making no
Yes.
return. And,
Yep.
and then the 6 month, this flipper says she's going to do it in, ends up being 12 months. And
Yeah.
so then you're getting no return, or maybe you lose 30 grand at the end of the day, or 50 grand of that 250.
Yeah.
Like, so like, then your return is a lot greater, right? Like, even if at the end of the year, you return your money, you're still losing 10 or 12% because you would be deploying that
And
money into
opportunity
at least,
cost. I could
right.
make from 250 in 1 year, maybe 16% is my average, 16 to 18% now with my deals and so forth. But you're right, Bo. I really appreciate your giving me advice because you were on the HDTV whole year. Remember cameras going after you and everything, and you were the Mr. Flipper. What was the name?
The show was called Flip It to Win It.
Flip it to win. Flip it to win. Hey, listening to us, guys, I mean, we come to you every week, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Please share these episodes and come back and give us comments and ask us questions. You could reach me at vinnychopra.com, contact, and again, beauxteen.com, and contact or through LinkedIn, DM, whatever, because we are here for your success to move your business to the next level.
Yeah, Vinny, I didn't know if I just told you, but anyway, this is case in point. So I was just on the news, actually. I didn't. Did
Oh,
I show you the clip? I was just on the.
no,
So look, yeah, after we get off, I'll show it. But
okay.
basically, one of the guys that I was on the show with just got indicted for is going to prison because
What?
he raised a
Oh,
bunch of money and never paid them back. And he was on the show with me. So they reached out and said, "Hey, can we interview about this guy?" I'm going to
is
show it
this
to you after.
recent or is it many years back?
It was back when we did the show, but he's finally going
Oh,
to
I
prison
see.
now.
I see.
Yeah, I'm going
Oh,
to show you the clip. Yeah.
wow.
But the
Wow.
point is, it happens all the
Cool.
time. I think he lost like 11 or $15 million of investor money.
I met with one of my friend and he brought his brother and son and uncle maybe or like that. And we met at Starbucks. He says, Winnie, in Dallas, they just saw the news. I think one operator lost $55 million. $55 million of investors' money. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So
Got
it
to be
happens all the
careful.
time. So look, when we're
When you
talking
say
about,
all the time, it scares the heck out of me.
but like we would have never guessed COVID happened, right? We would have never.
Yeah.
I talked to a multifamily operator because COVID happened. Evictions got backlogged. It used to take 4 weeks to evict. Now it took 9. His bridge loan came due. He did everything perfectly, other than the fact that COVID and they couldn't evict.
And
So like he could easily lose investor money. So even a person that does things right, buys the right investment, but something natural happens, there's always a risk level. So it's also like the staying power of you're gonna make an investment. Who are you investing with
yeah.
is more important than the deal, I think, right? Because at the end of the day, the person that's gonna make it right, even if it goes wrong, is the person you want to invest with.
Hi friends, this is Vinny Chopra from here in Danville, California. And you might be saying, hey Vinny, what are these over here? You know, I wrote this book a few years back, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. It became top seller. I came from India with $7 in my pocket. It says 500 million. It's going to be 1 billion very soon, very soon. I'm right at about 850, 900 million. And then I'm ready for the next billion. Actually, you will see that happening, 2 billion in this book also. The other book I wrote, which has been a very big positivity, has been my life. Always, I've been married 43 years with 2 children, and the beauty is to be positive, the mindset that can take you to all the places in the world. And that's the book that also became big seller. My third book, Senior Assisted Living, is coming. So do yourself a favor, go ahead and click the link below to get free copies, audio copies of these books, even printed copies of these books. If you, printed means digital, if you can't afford it. But I would highly recommend for you to get these or go to Amazon.com. Just go to Amazon. I got it in soft cover, in hardcover, in Kindle, in audio, also the Spanish version of this book also. So let's crush it, guys. I know you can be successful. I know you can do the kind of things that you want to do in life and have the streams of income and know how to really, educate yourself so that you could become a strong force in this world in real estate. I know you can. So take that step. Don't just be on the sideline. Take charge of your life. Take charge of your education.
I got to tell you about this one, and we are recording it. That's okay because the deal is there. Fannie Mae foreclosed on my property in Atlanta. You know it. And this gentleman who's been with me many years as an investor, he was telling his family right there at Starbucks yesterday, hey, Vinny is giving me 40%, 30%, 50%. In one deal in Atlanta, he even put 1.75 million of his own money, which I did, my wife and I. And then you gave me a loan for 8.5 or 8.75 million in 15 days. He brought it up. He said, you know what? I think you helped him too. But anyway, that's where the staying power of the operator is so important, and have the money to not lose the investor's money. If that property had been foreclosed, 327 units, I think it was, and if I did not bring up the money to pay Fannie Mae because they were foreclosing, we reversed it and got in 15 days, 8.75 comes to my mind, million. You gave me the loan with the company in San Francisco. Huh.
Yeah.
Came and met
So
me.
you always have to think about that, because the more I
Yeah.
think about it, it's the peace of mind knowing, look, if something
Yeah.
goes bad and
Yeah.
over time things,
Yeah.
you're not always going to get off the bat, and you're not always going to get on base. You're sometimes going to strike out. Sometimes it's like war or a pandemic or
Mhm.
whatever, government shutdown, like out of
Yep.
your hands. Look at all these people in Texas that had the insurance problems, that their insurance went from
Dude,
their
oh
insurance
my
went
God.
up triple, and they couldn't meet debt service coverage requirements. A
Yeah.
lot of variables. So like, you want to be working with somebody that will always protect your investor capital as best to
Mhm.
their ability. A lot of people, I've heard horror stories like where like something happened and they don't step up essentially where they could have. And then like, I think if the dollar amount's crazy, there's obviously
Yeah.
no way somebody can make it up. But also that's the difference between investing with a newer investor. Even on this house flip, for example, it's okay. What
Mhm.
is this? You got to get a feel of what their pocketbook looks like, because there's going to be those factors. I can cover what happens if your budget for 135 grand becomes 180. Do you have that extra 50 grand? Those are questions you really want to uncover, even on smaller deals. I think you're used to doing bigger deals. So doing like a $230,000 investment
Yeah.
where it's like $1 million property is a little, you don't, it's like the level of, oh, how much diligence should you do? But these are questions that, like, if you're out there and you're looking, people are always looking to do these residential flips and stuff, and they're looking for money partners. I see people looking, but I think you just always got to really say, okay, like, how many projects does this person have going? What if
Mhm.
this lady had 10? How many flips are you doing right now?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But maybe she
In-
had 5 going and she's over leveraged, right?
Yeah.
If you have,
Exactly.
most house flippers can't do more than 1 or 2 or 3 at a
Sure.
time, unless you're really
So
got a
true.
good, because you need the crews and stuff. So as you're going through, these are questions you'd want to ask, I would believe.
So,
Okay, how many projects have you done in the last 2 years? So
yeah.
like when I make hard money loans for house flippers, how many projects have you done in the last 2 years? And I get copies of closing statement. This is what my underwriters want to see, to
Yeah.
show proof of experience, because we lend high leverage financing. We'll lend up to 90% of the purchase price, 100% of the repair costs.
Yeah.
So if they've done 5 flips and you have the closing statement from when they bought it and the closing statement from when they sell it, so
Hmm.
you can really verify experience that way.
Yeah.
Versus somebody says, oh, I've done 50
So
flips in
many.
the last 3 years. Show me the addresses, right? These are the questions. If you're ever going to be a private lender, I would always learn about if you need to be licensed or have a licensed mortgage broker originate the loan. These are typically business purpose loans, so it's different than a consumer loan. But just
Mhm.
be aware of how to structure. And then if you structure it as a profit share agreement, recording a lien, making sure that the senior lender is okay with it, or know your risk levels there. Knowing this stuff, you'll make better investments into these house flip deals as just a money partner. I believe what I call gap funding or gap lending
Mhm.
is one of the best investments you can do, because like at the end of the day, if you lend 225 grand and in
Mhm.
6 months you got paid back to your 225 plus $90,000, that's
Yes.
a home run, right? That's a great deal.
Sure.
So that type of lending can be very lucrative.
I'm with you, dear brother. Hey, it's been a
Let's
great
wrap it up.
show.
We're
I
at
hope that you guys all love the content. Remember, we don't talk about all the rosy things. We want to talk about mitigating the risk and, learning and having the checkpoints for single home or RAL or any business. My partners, they are very experienced too. And they shared with me 2 opportunities yesterday. And I'm doing due diligence to see whether I should get into this winery with a restaurant and with B&B or small hotel, bread and breakfast right on the coast in Seattle area. That's one. And then the CBD business. So maybe, Beau, you and I should meet sometime, and today or tomorrow or over the weekend. Get your opinion, brother. because I really believe that there are some good monies to be made in this market. This market, you cannot be outside the field. You've got to have a bat in your hand, like a cricket, and then you play the ball, mitigate the risk, and do your key elements is research and analysis and risk assessment, testing and validation of what you're thinking, what you know of, and learn from your failures.
The
Yeah, go ahead.
restaurant and winery too could be SBA eligible, so we could do what we did on
Oh my God.
the marina.
Let's talk
like,
about
right?
it because I recorded the whole thing. So tell me what time is good for you today. I'm only available after 12, but I have all the time after that.
All right, I'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Beau and I are together to really bring the best to get your business to the next level.
Do me a favor, subscribe and share. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future.